Okay, Mr. Interactive, this is your...
Oh. Oh, yeah.
There was an attempt to bring a proceeding.
I lost my job about 8 years ago, and my parents had offered to let me live with them, so I accepted that. They said, you need to get a job, you need to get health insurance. I said, I'm giving my son back. That's what I'm doing. A 6-month notice to quit is a reasonable amount of time for someone who has been depending on persons for support. October, they started threatening me with it.
And what did they say to you? They
said, you need to get a job, you need to get health insurance, full-time job, health insurance. That's what they were going for. Well, I don't expect to be here in like another 3 months or so. Ever since I had gotten the February 2nd notice, however you want to characterize that notice, I have been trying to distance myself. I've been trying to make it so that I can get out of here. So I do expect to be able to do that, but within about 3 months or so.
The candidate looked around for a podium from which to give his speech, and the only thing he could find was a pile of that stuff that Bess Truman took 35 years trying to get Harry to call fertilizer. So he got up on the mound, and when they came back, he gave his speech. And at the end of it, the farmer said, "That's the first time I ever heard a Republican speech." And the candidate said, "That's the first time I've ever given a Republican speech from a Democratic platform."
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
Michael Rotondo, thanks for coming in studio with us.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. You have been one of the biggest stories in the United States and in other parts of the world this week.
Mm-hmm. It's exciting. It's not what I was. All I wanted was just to get what I asked for, what I believed justice to be. I didn't really want to have it turn into a media thing. But it's fine.
I understand. But USA Today, there's the headline right there. 30-year-old man evicted by his parents. I'm not a crazy person. I watched you speak at the court. I don't think you're crazy.
Right.
I think you're a little quirky, but everybody's a little quirky in ways. And it's easy to get you on here and be mean to you.
Right.
And say, that you're a 30-year-old bum.
Mm-hmm.
Because the real bums are the people that are on welfare and make the public pay for their abortions and for their sex changes. That's the level above it. Or here in Travis County, where they, again, make the citizens pay for illegal aliens, health care, and abortions and things like that, and illegal aliens out in California wanting free health care and anchor babies. And my whole issue is we're told these are wonderful, perfect angels, but then the very same liberal media piled on, so did the conservative media, and called you a bum and a joke and a slob and a delusional idiot and all these things, which, if that's true, that makes all of us even bigger morons to then at the same time, like 1984, hold it in our mind that all these other people are entitled to free stuff.
I think that you shouldn't have people who need things like food and shelter in your own communities. I don't think it's something that you want.
I'm just saying, just look at the red light, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Doing great.
Yeah, I don't think it's a good thing to have. I don't think that even if it costs more, even if you have to raise taxes to get these people food and housing, I don't think it's something that you would wish to forgo, because then you have hungry people and crime's going to go up. Isn't that going to contribute to crime, don't you think?
That's one of the historically more reasonable arguments to that equation.
So, and, nobody wants that. Nobody wants crime. No one wants to have to use a firearm and then have themselves get attacked by the liberal media from that, and then start the whole, take the guns away type of argument, which is not the problem.
And you're calling yourself a conservative.
I have some very conservative views. I have a lot of very liberal views, but I think that the founding fathers had it right when they, wrote the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. I think that if we were following it, I think that both of the ideals of conservatives and liberals could be accommodated.
Well, Michael, here's the bottom line. I can't get on a high horse and say you're the worst person when it comes to the whole welfare society out there, when on a scale of 1 to 10, you're about a 3 or a 4, because one of the most natural ways for people to turn into dependents and to go down this road you're on is with their parents. And in a lot of cultures, that happens. Their families live in big houses together, but they all go out and work in the fields together or work in the factories, and it's more of a communal, situation like the Waltons or something. So on the other side of the equation, though, what about your parents if you don't have a job? What about them? They become your slave if they've got to pay for the food, the electricity, the house, the transportation. I would guess the medicine. I mean, what about them? What are you going to do? A, that's one question. B, what are you going to do when your parents can no longer pay for anything? What are you going to do when they have to go to the nursing home or, God forbid, have a stroke or heart attack or die?
I've been trying to leave the home for years, and it's as a result of that I felt as though I would be able to in about 3 months from now, which was the case. Well, the case I made was for 6 months, because that was what.
So you agree it's a form of slavery to make them take care of you?
Yeah, I don't want to make them take care of me.
But they've been trying to get you out for 6 years.
No. Where is that coming from?
I saw that on the news. Is that not right?
That's not right. Where do you have that handy?
On the news said that you lost your job 8 years ago, 6 years ago, that they've been trying to get you out for years. Is that not true?
No, first part's true, second part false.
All right.
So I've been there for 8 years, and but they've only tried to get me out since October of this past year, and they had made my first hearing of their decision for me to leave was the February 2nd notice.
Sure. Well, I did think the media made this all one-dimensional to make fun of you and to laugh at you,
sure.
and I also said some derogatory things that I've said to your face here, just being honest with you, because I want to have a man-to-man talk with you on air and off air. I'm tempted to offer you a job.
Okay.
As a reporter.
Okay.
And even get you a crew.
Okay.
In New York, but you'd have to actually go out and do the shoots and do the reports. Howard Stern hires interesting people, and I think you call yourself a conservative. I think we could. I'll just say it. We could turn you into a formidable individual, but we're going to have some discussions.
All right. Now that's New York City or New York State.
But see, you may have to go where we want you to go. That's part of being taking care of yourself.
Well,
is you have to make compromises with your employers or with other people.
I want to be able to see my son.
I understand.
Right.
So, sure, we could probably, that's how the discussion happens. But
all right.
Regardless, I've got a check here for you when we come back for coming down here. And I want to try to just explain a few things to you, which you sound like a smart guy in certain aspects. It is slavery if you parents have to take care of you. Someday they won't be able to take care of you.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be more empowered in your life if you go out through a daily process and go through trials and tribulations. If they try to grow plants in zero gravity.
If I'm managed, is what you're saying.
Well, but I mean, plants don't grow well in zero gravity.
That's right.
You understand, on a Mars mission, on a 1-year Mars mission just to get there, you would have trouble walking even if you were in really great shape once you got there.
I would not characterize myself as a plant.
But no, I'm explaining something to you.
Oh, all right.
If you don't go out and work and live your life and go through stress, you don't become strong.
That's right.
Your brain falls apart and you become sedentary and have Alzheimer's types effects by even age 30.
Right, okay.
And I've run into it with kids that play with phones and TVs all day. Mm-hmm. They have that same look in their eye that you do. There's an intelligence there, but you are in kind of a mesmerized trance state. You don't have a drive state going.
My head's in the clouds is what you're saying.
Your head's in the clouds.
Okay.
And you're smart, but you're not completely
productive,
conscious.
Okay.
And it's beyond a laziness. It's a spirit. It's a program. How much TV and video games do you play and watch?
Very little. I don't do any video games. I stopped doing video games long time ago. The television, I try to watch television because I need to stop. I need to have some time where I stop working so that I can sleep. I need to have some.
When are you working?
I work all day, every day, almost.
On what?
Law. I have a business.
You have a business?
Yeah, I have a business.
Well, then why don't you move out of your parents' house?
I'm going to move out. I expect to be able to.
Let me ask you a question when we come back.
All right.
I got key questions for you when we come back.
Okay.
We're going to discuss this straight ahead. We have him here, the 30-year-old evicted, about to be evicted. I want to find out if you've actually left yet. On the other side, I'm Alex Jones, Infowars.com, Newswars.com. Michael Rotondo, one of the biggest stories in the country, 30-year-old, taking his parents to court because they're trying to kick him out of the house, and he wants more time. We're going to find out if he's actually out now, because I guess it was like 2 days ago that the judge ruled this. He's here with us in Austin, Texas, in studio. And look, this is how capitalism works, my friend. I said, I will pay you $1,000 just to come on, just so you get a little bit of money and hopefully learn how to make your own money and go out and be free and have your own wife, your own life. I know you've been married before.
I've been married before.
Or have a child.
Right.
The point is that here's $3,000, my friend, so that you can hopefully get on your own feet.
I can, and this means a lot to me, and you're keeping me off the street with this.
Well, listen.
I appreciate it.
I can't sit here and, you know, just put you down and call you names. And I've said a few smart mouth things. But, again, what I'm getting at here is the globalists, the social engineers, they want to make us all dependent. They've set up a culture and a system that is trying to arrest our development and that is electronically programming our brains to put us into a type of artificial Asperger's type state, but not an Asperger's state where people are even able to carry out tasks. It's a spectrum, and it's electromagnetic, and it's mainstream news now that this is happening. And our embassy staff are getting hit with it at you know, amped up rates. The cell phone radiation is causing heart problems, brain damage, doubling brain tumors just with the old 3 and 4G. And so what I'm telling you is, I can't sit here and judge you wanting to be with your parents, having some type of, you know, psychological, you know, baby thing where you don't want to leave. I can't analyze the whole deal. But I'm telling you, this won't go well for you down the road if you continue to not make yourself go out and live on your own and reach out. You know, just the idea of doing everything kind of OCD, you know, in exact little ways the way you want to get it done, and then people catering to that is going to put you into a smaller and smaller box, in my view. I'm not a psychiatrist, a psychologist. I'm just a student of the street and life. So I wanted to actually humanize you, but also tell you I think your parents are doing the right thing, giving you a swift kick in the old ass.
That would be reasonable. I think I would say that maybe they should have served me a 6-month notice to quit, and then I'd be out in 6 months, and they wouldn't have had to pay a penny in legal fees, and I'd be out just as you had represented that you thought was a good idea.
What do you think of some of the liberal professors and people saying, "Oh, you have a right to stay"? Well, then do I have a right to just go knock on somebody's door and say they got to take care of me? This idea, take care of me, take care of me. You know what happens at the park if you feed the squirrels and you feed the wildlife? They become obese, greedy, hateful, and stupid. And that's what they say. They don't feed the animals at the park.
Here's where that opinion may come from. The February 2nd notice is was a threat to basically commit a crime according to the real property law of New York State, where you cannot all of a sudden lock someone out without a court proceeding. So that may be taken from that, where it's believed that, you know, you go to the court. I say what I said to the judge, which is that, you know, this notice is against the law, and they were threatening to commit a crime, and it was harassment. And the judge could respond to that by penalizing my parents and saying, listen, you know,
But they left you 5 notices and even offered cash to help you get your new home.
Right. But that doesn't change the fact that it requires about 6 months to make it so you can support yourself.
Well, listen, bottom line, do parents, when their child is, I think, biologically twice the age past when they should be out of the house.
Right.
They keep arresting development more and more and more. I mean, you know, like if you read Wagon Wheels, which is based on a true story, you know, it's like former slave family, and they got their little 7, 8, 9-year-olds marching 100 miles with a map that daddy drew to say, meet me there, and they made it there. I read stuff about my frontier families and stuff. It was the same kind of stuff. I mean, you had people skinning bucks, running trot lines when they were 10 years old, and now look at us. They're saying the new 18 is 35. I'm sure you've seen those headlines where there's this whole culture. Austin is filled with people like you.
Really?
Yeah, but they just live off welfare. They work 1 day a week. It's their religion. But then they think, I've got to pay more taxes so that they can, you know, sit around and smoke dope all day.
Well, one thing I have to say in response to that is that I think that it's important that people are trying to, you know, to grow themselves. And it sounds like these people you're describing are not trying to do that. And from that, there would be more opportunity because there'd be more businesses. Sure. So you know, and it talks about, it speaks to what you were saying before about how people are sort of brought into this sedentary lifestyle where they just.
Yeah, and I'm saying you're really common. You're not this.
I'm not that.
Well, I'm saying what we're discussing here is super garden variety. It's the trend.
Okay.
It's not the exception. It's the trend.
Okay.
It's growing. And most people that are like this act just like you. They're usually witty in ways. They're smart. They have little comebacks. They have all their little ways of doing things. And I think it's a gross form of selfishness.
You're calling me a millennial.
Well, you are.
All right. I am a millennial. I will admit that. But
what is it with millennials? I mean, I'm not bragging, bro, but when I was 11, I'm not going to even get into it all. The point is.
Uphill both ways.
Well, by the time I was 12, I was, by all intents and purposes, had done the things men do. Okay, been in a bunch of fights, already been with women, whole 9 yards. Looked like I was 16. When I was 16, looked like I was 20-something. I was 21, already on the radio, 22 syndicated. I'm 44 now. I'm not saying I'm that great of a person. My dad was going in apprenticeships in factories and stuff when he was 10. His great uncle ran away from home when he was 11 and jumped on a steamboat and went to China and all around the world and came back, and then was one of the biggest runners of liquor in Houston.
Would he have?
I mean, take Shane Steiner, my buddy's great grandfather who died at like 102. Buck Steiner. He ran the Dixie Mafia in Texas.
Okay.
The whole 9 yards. By the time he was like 30 years old.
All right.
But I'm just saying, man, how do people become like this? How do you not want to go out and do something?
Why your uncle hopped on the train and went off that way?
That was my dad's great uncle.
Your dad's great uncle.
I'm saying they were all like that.
Right, because they felt
they're like 11 years old in the middle of the countryside in East Texas. I'm gone.
They were raised to be capable.
Yeah.
Not like today.
Okay, so how were you raised?
I wouldn't really characterize myself as having been raised necessarily. It was more or less I had to, fend for myself in a lot of ways in that environment where
fend for yourself in your parents' house. I mean, did your parents abuse you?
I'm not responding to that right now, but I would say that I had to figure out things for myself. If I wanted to achieve something, I had to figure out how I was or was not going.
Were you a latchkey kid?
I don't know what that means.
Did your parents leave you at home all day by yourself?
I was on my own most of the day.
Let me ask you this question real quick, because we appreciate you being here.
Sure.
How are you doing right now? Are you still at home with your parents?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
It's weird. There's only 2 instances. It was basically normal, but people have been asking me questions, and I realized it's a little different. My father, the day of the judgment came down. I was in the house. I was in the kitchen the same time as they were, and my father and I tried to occupy the same space at the same time. And I said, "Excuse me," because I was just being, reasonable person, and he said, "No, Michael, I will not excuse you." And I didn't say anything, and I think to myself, what was he trying to achieve with that? What was that for? And from that, that was new. It was new for there to be a sort of a line in the sand all of a sudden.
Wow! So your parents got a little cold with you.
I would say provocative of a confrontation.
Well, when you start getting old, you really want to do things the way you want to do them. And it would be, if I was 60-something years old, how old are your parents?
60-something years old, 61.
I mean, and I had a son going around that was dressed like Cousin It. I'd get pissed off and tell him, get the hell out of the house.
I can't wait to get out of there.
And by the way, I like your beard and hair. I was just doing a cheap shot there.
The beard goes when I get my...
I look like a pumpkin head, so it's all right.
You look great.
No, I don't. Anyways, my wife says I do. I don't think so. Hey, but seriously. When are you going to get out now?
I'm considering that I can have, well, it depends on how many hands I have to help me, because I've had some people offer to help me. But it's basically getting my stuff to.
Well, you just got $3,000.
I got to get the things out of there and put them in another place, and then.
But the $3,000, you can't have that much stuff. We're talking, you know, $300, $400 a moving company.
I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to save. I have until.
See, everyone isn't operating on your timetable, bro.
I have until January 1st. You're telling me I got to get out sooner? Or June 1st.
June 1st.
Yeah.
I'm going to just try to put your email out or something. Maybe our listeners want to help you.
No.
No. I mean, help you move your stuff.
Don't put my email.
There might be a girl out there who thinks you're pretty handsome.
That's not going to help me.
Don't
you want one of those weightlifter ones? One of those really strong girls that can, you know.
Hey, folks, we got free shipping on all the big top items, 50% off on a bunch of the new bestsellers, including the Real Red Pill Plus, now with enhanced energy. InfoWarsStore.com, InfoWarsLife.com. I need your support.
You know, someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
You just saw a short excerpt of the full interview we did with this notable awakened human. If you want to see the full unedited interview, go to InfoWars Interviews online. We have links below, and we have links to the side to our other channels, but the full interviews are being posted to InfoWars Interviews online on YouTube and other platforms. And you can always find the full live transmission at Infowars.com/show.
Our team is always looking for new ways to improve our products. That's why we've created the newest version of a fan favorite formula, the Real Red Pill Plus. The Real Red Pill Plus contains the powerful pregnenolone formula, now with an added energy boost. Now, you can support your heart, brain, and aging process with an added natural energy boost. The proprietary energy blend includes powerful ingredients like green tea extract, yerba mate leaf extract, and more. Paired with the powerful ingredients in the original Real Red Pill formula, the Real Red Pill has just what you need to support your body while getting the pick-me-up to get you through the day. The Real Red Pill Plus is a powerful investment into the future of your mind and body. Don't miss out on the all-new upgrade to your favorite product. Head to InfoWarsStore.com and get the Real Red Pill Plus today. Get Real Red Pill Plus now at 50% off.